Hi, my name is Rich Shumaker, and I have a YouTube channel.
Welcome to Flow of the Round, Week 8 Core. My name is Rich Shumaker. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm sure that this week will be an exciting week. Hi, my name is Rich Shumaker. Thank you for joining me. Sorry about the recording in the background. So I'm watching it live on the side. I'm recording the microphone and I'm recording the camera. Of course, I did a test earlier and I didn't have one of the things even on. So I don't know what I was thinking. I was probably thinking, breathe, everybody. So this week, we're going to be discussing core elements of Flow of the Round. Now, Flow of the Round, as I've told you, is my form of contact juggling, Sphereplay, dynamic object manipulation. Contact juggling, Sphereplay, dynamic object manipulation. What I call Flow of the Round. Now, if you haven't seen Flow of the Round, or what I call Flow of the Round, it's this. Basically, I flow with a round object. Ledger plastic, everybody. First thing I'm going to tell you to do is we're going to do a quick warm-up before we get into the core elements, and breathing. Every week that I watch this back, I can see how tense I am, and then for whatever reason, breathing pops into my mind. And then as soon as I breathe, I relax. It's important to breathe. Second thing is to stretch. So before we start, you want to do some hand stretches. I noticed this week that my shoulder was bothering me. Shockingly, I use my arms a lot when I do Flow of the Round. I actually have a permanent shoulder injury in a muscle back here. So there's certain things that I avoid. Just don't do them. And again, you need to know what your body is all about. So make sure that when you stretch, include your hands. As I've shown you in previous weeks, I love to stretch my hands with Chinese exercise balls from Baja Ding. Both hands, both ways. I do verticals and I do upside down. A lot of the times what I'll do is I'll start with apart, then together, then upside down. I usually don't do verticals that much because verticals to me is just a version of upside down. Next on the hip parade, relax. After you've done breathing and you've stretched, the next thing you want to do is relax. Hopefully, while stretching and breathing, it will be relaxing to you and you will be able to enjoy the awesome of the day. Seize the awesome, as it were. Relax. Very key concept that came up last week in number 7. You don't need me, people. You just don't. You don't need me at all. All you need, props. These are big and small, and these are made by the same company, believe it or not. These are both Ledger plastic. This is Ledger plastic, I think, 150 millimeter, and this is Ledger plastic somewhere, it might be 200 millimeter. This is a 90 millimeter. And so you just need these, and you need time, and you need to spend time doing things with your body and the round objects. I will tell you that you don't need me. What I will also say, though, is I need you. I know that sounds kind of odd. The more that I help other people, the more other people help me. And it's kind of a circular process. But I want to make sure that you know, one of my core fundamental things is you don't need me. And that's why I started with this week. Relaxing, stretching, breathing. Everybody needs to know that. Everybody needs to do that. So if you are like, hey, I really don't want to watch you anymore, just turn me off now. I totally understand because you don't need me. I really don't. I do need you guys, though. So please, if you get a chance, watch the videos, watch what I do every week, and help contribute by asking questions. Next on the hit parade, the flow state. One of the reasons that I call what I do Flow of the Round is because I'm trying to create something new and different, yes. More importantly, though, I found that I didn't really connect with contact jugglers as much as I did once I learned Sphereplay. So I used to do a lot of contact juggling. And the reason that I say I used to is because I don't seem to do as much contact juggling as I used to. So this is a classic contact juggling move. It's called the Around the World, and it's fairly standard as far as what to learn. Falling up, I learned when I learned contact juggling as well. Walking, a lot of the stuff that I've taught you. Now, when I learned Sphereplay, I had just started doing contact juggling flips and flops. Now, what's interesting, a lot of contact jugglers don't do index, pinky, pinky, index, pinky, index. So I was kind of on my own little island again. Now I'm a sphere player. I'm not really a contact juggler anymore. And then when I started talking to jugglers, they were like, well, we don't think contact juggling is really juggling, and sphere play, it's kind of a silly name, and which to me is silly. I think the name Sphereplay is awesome. And then third, they were like, old school jugglers called it dynamic object manipulation because you're manipulating an object dynamically. Okay, cool. So now we've got 3 names. Why did you create a 4th, Rich? Because what I do, I call flow of the round because I enter into what is called a flow state. Hence what I had on screen. The flow state is a state of mind in which I call it an in-between state. You're not in this world and you're not in the next world. You're kind of in between. The flow state, and of course, now that I'm trying to remember his name, was studied heavily by a PhD in physics and psychiatry, I think. Psychology, not psychiatry, psychology. I'm always going to get it wrong. I think his name's Comiskey. And the reason I bring him up is because flow is not something dedicated to a round object. Flow is a state of mind for anyone doing anything. You can get into a flow state of mind by running, by walking, by knitting, taking photography, or doing photography, brewing coffee. And for me, when I first started, I was going into a flow state. I had no idea what I was doing. I would put music on in the background and I would immediately go into a flow state, and I would spend half an hour, an hour, 2 hours, and I wouldn't even know. I would look up and I'd go, oh my gosh, 4 hours have gone by. Oh my gosh, an hour's gone by. Because when you're in the flow state, time changes. And for the better, if you ask me. Now, what's interesting about the flow state is that it's easy for me to get into, and sometimes it's hard for me to get out of. The flow state for me is really straightforward and really easy to get into, and music helps me do that. A lot of the times, when I'm spinning, I will literally just zone off with 2, 4, 6, 8, no matter what number I'm doing. And then once I'm in that state, I'll switch over to a single, and I'll just keep going. So flow of the round is a flow state with a round object. One of the core concepts that I have is pay it forward. If you don't want to give back to me, which I'm totally cool with, just make sure that you pay it forward to the next generation. Obviously, if there's something I'm doing, I would love you to support what I'm doing. At the same time, though, please support the next generation. The next group that's coming along is going to be able to learn faster, quicker, easier than you did, and it's going to be really frustrating. I teach people all the time, and they're so much faster and better than I was at the same time rate. Because when I learned, I basically was in isolation and I learned all by myself. And it was great. It was an awesome way to learn, except when I got to certain plateaus, there wasn't anybody to work with. So pay it forward, help other people, and make sure to move forward in your progression. Meaning, like, if you get to a stumbling block, try to seek someone out and hopefully they'll be able to help you pay it forward. Now, something that comes up every week, know your surroundings. Hat. The hat. Every week, people, the hat. Now, you're probably wondering, why don't you just move the hat? I like the hat. The hat's great. I can put the hat on at any time, grab some sunglasses, and now I've got a whole new thing going on. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. If I didn't have the hat, I couldn't do that. And I love the hat. The hat's awesome. Like the sunglasses, too. So, know your surroundings, people. And what I've told you before is this is a horrible space, in my opinion, to do any type of practicing. I'm shooting a video for you to watch, except if I was actually doing this as a workshop, first of all, nobody could stand in here with me. Literally, I've got equipment within 3 inches of me. If you've noticed, I don't use my silver a lot. One of the main reasons is this thing's fairly heavy, fairly hard, and honestly, when this hits stuff, boom, it's gone. Destroyed. Utterly. Electronic equipment getting destroyed by a ball is not what this video series is about. It's not what my flow workshops are about. It's about learning how to do it. So a lot of the times I will use what I call practice sphere. I consider this a performance sphere for me, and you should always use your performance spheres as much, if not more, than your practice spheres if you're going to have a performance coming up. So if I was performing with this tomorrow, I would probably spend 80 or 90% of my time with this and only 10 or 20% of my time with this. Just the way that I work, just the way that I roll. Which leads to creating a space. Since I told you this space is horrible, you need to create a space. And currently, I will tell you, I'll be honest with you, my spaces are very good for working from about here up. I have a dual mirror system where I have 2 mirrors in a corner. I've made some videos with that, and it makes it so I can see 2 angles at one time. And I'm over a bed, so it's really good for that. Not great, again, for hard, heavy objects, because I'm afraid it'll go through the mirror. Because when you get experimental, you have to expect that you're going to throw something and it's going to fly. Just the way it is. You need to know your surroundings. So the next space that I'm actually going to be creating, hopefully, will allow me to work not just from here up, but from here down. There's so many things I want to explore. Legs, arms, body, and my posture is the worst. So I need to work on my posture and work on these other aspects of things. And in order to do that, I need to create a space. Another core concept. This is one of the most interesting ones for me because a lot of people have differing opinions on what feedback is. Now, for me, I like first-person feedback, meaning I like to see what I'm doing and watch it back. It can be a bit daunting. I'll be honest. When you first start out, it's daunting to watch yourself. It's really daunting to hear yourself. You really have to get over that. It takes time. When I first started, I used mirrors. Mirrors were great. I was able to get instant feedback on what I was doing. Very two-dimensional, but I was still able to tell what I was doing and what was going on. From mirrors, I went to cameras, or camera. I had one. I had a CCTV camera, which is a closed-circuit television camera. It was black and white. I would videotape myself, and then I would watch it back. Besides feedback for yourself, you can also provide feedback to others, which is what I wanted to tell you. If you ever want an honest critique from me, just let me know. I'm not going to post it online because my honesty is brutal. You have to understand, I've been watching contact juggling and doing contact juggling for decades. So when I see someone and they're like, hey, give me a critique, I'm going to give you an honest critique in public that I would give to you in public, meaning I thought it was great. Your isolations are clean. You did this move great. I'm going to be very upbeat and positive. If you ask me for a legit critique, I'm going to be like, at 2 minutes and 22 seconds, you see that little bibble bobble, fibble fobble? Remember the bibble bobbles and the fibble fobbles? You probably need to work on that. And so when it comes to feedback, please ask me for real feedback, but just be ready for something unexpected. Because if you read my stuff online, I'm very upbeat and positive because as a whole, the community needs to rise up. I mean, it's so easy to tear people down. I will be legitimately honest. I stink at 80% of contact juggling and I need to get better at it. And I'm the first to tell you, when someone gives me a critique and like, oh, you stink. Okay, I'm cool with that. Why do I stink? Being able to look at someone and say, your left elbow is pointed in the wrong direction when you're doing this move, that's the kind of critique I like to give people. I want to give them constructive criticism that's going to help them in the long term. And my number one critique of all contact jugglers, everywhere, is they don't do this. It's number one critique, people. I know you didn't ask me for your feedback right now, and they don't do this. They don't do pinkies, and they don't do index fingers. Next on the hit parade, face, everyone. This has come up a lot. Now, face is what I discuss when you are performing. You need to understand what you look like visually to other people. And also, even when you're at home by yourself, it's really good to get out of your mind and out of your cringy faces. And most of the time, what will happen on these flow shops is I will be doing this and I'll be making a face that I know is what I call a concentration face. I over-exaggerate, like, it's my concentration face. But I know my concentration face isn't really like that. It's done for dramatic effect. The thing is, though, as soon as I notice that I'm doing face, bibble, bobble, fibble, fobble, 30 seconds, back of the hand. As soon as I notice face, what I end up doing is I start to smile because I immediately laugh. Because when you see face, say it louder. Because you need to know that you're entertaining your audience. If a performer comes up on stage and they look down and they're saying to the microphone, elocution, you have to be able to speak. Eye contact. If I was looking over there the entire time and over there the whole time, that would be annoying. I try to look at you, and every once in a while, I'll look over there, I'll look over there, and I've been trying to cut that down almost to nothing because I know that it annoys me. Now, second, face, really big, really loud. Why did I put it on here 3 times? Because that's how important it is to me. For me, that's one of the most important things. When I watch a contact juggler, if they, or a sphere player, or a dynamic object manipulator, and it doesn't matter, or a juggler, it doesn't matter what they're doing. They could be tossing knives that are on fire. Awesome. If they are able to give a performance while they're doing that, it's so much better. So if I'm intent on the round object, that might be part of the performance. But if I can look around and come back, that might make it even better. And speaking of which, I found my blindfold. The reason a blindfold becomes important is because a lot of what you're going to do as a contact juggler can be done blind. So if you want to take face out of it completely and get out of your head almost completely, put a blindfold on. If you can do it blindfolded, I told you before, listen, I know I'm blind, but you shouldn't be picking on me, Mr. Hat. The hat's always in the way. So if you can do it blind, I'm pretty sure you can do it any other way. Now that's the hardest trick that I do blind just because I literally can't see what I'm doing. So you have to know or have a feeling as to where it's going to be. Now what you have to understand, this room is tight, as I've said, and I'm not sure if I'm going to kill myself or not. Today we're going over core concepts, people, and the next one's very important. Are you ready? You have 2 hands. Not sure why you have 2 hands, although I think it's probably something to do with symmetry, but who knows. But you have 2 hands, so make sure you use them. Now this is cool. Well, that wasn't cool, but this is cool and sort of impressive. This takes it to a next level of impressive. And the reason is because I'm using both of my hands. 2 hands, people. You have 2 hands! And I still really don't know why. But make sure to try it on both sides. Learn to unlearn. I, as a sphere player, contact juggler, dynamic object manipulator, flow of the round artist. I, as a flow of the round artist, have had bad habits. I learned how to do this move, as I've told you. Hey, good stop. I learned how to do this move early on. That move caused it so that I have a difficult time with a hold on the elbow, as you can tell. Squishies are usually harder for me when it comes to stall points. I usually use my metal when it comes to learning the stall point. And this is my offhand. I am right-handed. This is my left hand. No excuses. I'm just telling you, like, this is actually really complicated for me because of my drummer muscle. When I went from doing this move almost exclusively to doing this simple move, there was a lot of unlearning there. Same with learning here. I had to unlearn certain things in order to learn how to hold it there. And again, each step along the way, you have to be willing to unlearn to relearn. Unlearn to learn. It's as simple as that. Flow of the round is rolling, spinning, and sometimes throwing. For me, contact juggling led to Sphereplay, which led to me talking about dynamic object manipulation, which led to flow of the round, which is spinning, rolling, and sometimes throwing. What I tend to lean towards when it comes to throwing is what I call a throw that can be done blind. Earlier, I had a blindfold on and I threw a ball, and I threw a round object and I caught it. And I did it with a blindfold on. I work on other things like that where I can do blind throws. So I guess a good definition of whether I count it as flow of the round or not is, can you put a blindfold on and do it? And if you can, then I'd probably put it more in the flow of the round category than I would into toss juggling. Now there are toss jugglers and or toss juggling tricks where you put a blindfold on and you do it. The thing is that for me, keeping something in control, which requires blindness most of the time to prove like, hey, it's in control, that is the make it or break it for the throw as opposed to something else. Rounds by any other name. I do often call them balls. I often call them spheres. The reason I don't call them balls, and if you watch Victor Key on America's Got Talent this week, Heidi Klum loves to say that he loves Victor's balls, which first of all, Victor, you're the man. And Heidi, that's awesome. And every time she says, Victor, I love your balls, the crowd laughs hysterically. Because balls have a certain connotation when it comes to men and or women. So most people have what I call a sophomoric view when someone says, don't even start. Don't even start. Sophomoric view when people talk about balls. So that's why I don't call them balls. The reason that I don't call them spheres is because my mom calls them spears, like the javelin, a spear. And so that's why I came up with round. I am a flow artist that uses round objects, hence flow of the round. Something that we haven't discussed this week or any other week is what I call the one drop rule. It's an interesting rule. It's actually a rule that came from Russian juggling style that I had been reading about. The Russian jugglers have and Victor Key, again, comes up twice in this show. Victor Key actually comes from the Russian juggling school. And Russian jugglers are very into not dropping. They're very into precision, accuracy, and not making mistakes. And this is specifically for toss juggling. So I took that rule and I applied it to Sphereplay, and then I applied it back to contact juggling because I didn't actually have it when I was a contact juggler. It came up when I was a sphere player, and now when it's flow of the round, I use it a lot. The one drop rule is simply that. If you drop, you stop. You move on to the next thing. So if I'm doing practicing something and I make a mistake and something hits the ground, or I bibble bobble, fibble fobble, I typically, if it's not something where I can put it on the back of my arm and do 30 seconds up and down and all around, it's some more complex move. I may try it a second time, but typically I will stop. I will move on to something else. So I will stop that and maybe I'll go to spinning. So if I'm rolling, I'll go to spinning, do that for a few minutes, and then I will come back to the rolling move and try to build back up to it. And the reason that is because without the one drop rule, you learn mistakes really well. And what I mean by that is I have for years been trying to get my elbow hold, and it wasn't until years later that I found out that you need to have a point to hold it. Once you have the point to hold it, then you can roll it to and from that point. Sorry about hitting the microphone. And you see, I practiced this so much where it just doesn't stop. It just keeps going and going and going and hitting the ground. That one drop rule, if it had been in place, I would have stopped making that mistake and I would have worked on something else and I would have come back. And when you practice a mistake or practice something that you're not doing correctly, it gets ingrained in your head and you have to unlearn it. Unlearning to me takes about 10 times that of learning. That's why I use the one drop rule, because it helps me avoid the unlearning process, which is a time-consuming one. Learn from everybody and everything. So learn from everyone you meet, learn from everything you see, every. So if I meet you and you're a poi artist, not a contact juggler, not a sphere player, not a flow of the round artist, you're a poi player, I look at your feet. I look at how you move. I look at how you move your arms. I can learn as much from a poi artist as I can from a flow artist that does flow of the round. And the reason I say that is because everything that everyone does can help teach you something. Now that's people. What about things? Look at the palm trees that are around you. I live in Southern California. We've got a lot of palm trees. If you don't have palm trees, you probably have regular trees. You have grass, you have sand, you have air, you have water. Learn from those things. Look at them. Adapt what you see to your art form. And again, people, these are the core concepts. There's a lot of them. And the reason there's a lot of core concepts is because there's a lot of things that go into shaping an artist, and especially a flow of the round artist. It's the simplest of objects. It is just a round object. To make that an art form, you have to go a lot farther than, say, 3 lit torches, because they are entertaining in and of themselves. And again, not a big fan of flaming ball or flaming sphere or flaming round object. Music makes the flow go round. I don't have music on my show for licensing reasons, and we've discussed that in, I do believe, week 5. Except when I'm doing it for myself, I will put music on and I will make a playlist so that I will have a certain amount of time uninterrupted before music has to be pressed again. So maybe half an hour, maybe an hour, because when I get into a flow, hours can go by. Having that playlist end kind of tells me, hey, you've been doing it for 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes. Again, core concepts, people, core concepts. Everything that we've gone over today, you'll be able to watch over at the Facebook group, which is probably where you're watching it right now. It's important to me to just tell you thank you very much for stopping by, checking out my videos, checking out what I do, checking out everything that is Flow of the Round to me. And if you have any questions, any comments, anything like that, all you have to do is tweet. Tweet FLOTR as the hashtag. I'll check it out. I'll read it. I will include it on the show each week. And if you don't want to tweet me, you want to reach to me directly, you can either stop by my website, richshumaker.com, or you can go to contactjuggling.com and check it out. And slowly over time, they both change. And again, youtube.com/richshumaker. I take what I do live and I edit it. As always, everyone, my name is Rich Shumaker. You guys have been amazing. Thank you very much for coming each week. Hat, don't even start. Don't even start. And before I go, I love this. I love this animation. Otherwise, I wouldn't show it to you. This week we got through pretty smooth. In previous weeks, hasn't been so smooth, and we've had some technical difficulties. And I'm sure that the technical difficulties company would love to use this screen for all of their technical difficulties. My name again is Rich Shumaker, everybody. You guys have been amazing. Please have an awesome Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Have a great weekend. Look forward to talking to you both via the interwebs and live and in person. Again, my name is Rich Shumaker. Thank you very much for watching Flow of the Round, Week 8, Core. Yes, everyone, Flow of the Round, Week 8, Core. So, I'm just going to cry. Just streaming tears down. I look that way, I look this way. Casey Neistat always talks about the fact that he wears sunglasses. And the reason he wears sunglasses is so that he can look over that way, and you won't know where he's looking. Genius, if you ask me. Stay on target. Nod to Gary Vee. No excuses, people. I should be getting it done. I'm only working my eyebrow right now. I need to work my whole face. I need to work so hard that my face is melting. I got to work my face off. But unfortunately, I'm just working so hard that my eyebrow is kind of melting off. You have 2 hands! And I still really don't know why. But make sure to try it on both sides. Hey, Michael, how are you? And that's very sweet. I will try to keep up the awesome.